But if you got questions, ask away. We'll get started in a second here. We're gonna launch into our farm cake recipe. Here I am, not much else to say. We'll give it like an official, we'll go like, hello YouTube. If any of you are actually following along in real time, preheat that oven. We're going for 375, so go ahead and get that thing turned on. Look at that.
Thanks, LG.
Patrick, we got you. I'll send you the link to the YouTube when it's up. Should have the recipe in there. I think we can get started. All right, we're gonna get officially started here with our farm cake recipe. If you have it and you're following, do your best to follow along with us. If you have questions, throw them in the comment section. We'll try to answer them in real time at the moment you drop them. All right, everyone, welcome to our farm cake video. The idea here is to introduce some techniques and some really simple ways to cook some food, make some food. We're gonna start this whole thing off with some baking, and we have some other items coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do some pizza dough tomorrow. We might even start that today. We got some split chicken this weekend, and then next week we're going to do world famous pumpkin pepita muffins, for those of you that know. What else are we doing? Oh, we got some fresh corn polenta coming. Couple other things. So more videos to come. We're gonna kick this off with our farm cakes, but in this new world that we live in, Instagram, YouTube, we're gonna wash our hands first. All right, not that we wouldn't wash them anyway. We just gotta wash them twice. All right, so go ahead and get that oven preheated. We want that at 375. Get that going now so you have some time to get that oven warm while we put together the rest of the ingredients. So we're gonna start with the cream cheese mix, and normally I would do this in an electric stand mixer, like a KitchenAid, but I'm not sure that everybody's gonna have one, and it's off camera, so I'm gonna just hand whisk this, unless my assistant gets it set up before the time comes. So to start, we need about 3 ounces of cream cheese. So if you're like me and you just have like a regular old cream cheese loaf, it's pretty simple to find that 3-ounce mark. It's right on the side of the packaging. Just gonna cut that off. If you got a scale, you can weigh that too, but we just need that 3-ounce chunk. So drop that cream cheese into your stand mixer. If you don't have a lovely assistant like I do and you're just whisking by hand, drop it into the bowl. Get ready to put it together. So we have our cream cheese. Our next step is to, well, let's slow down there. We're going to pull an egg out, but we're going to add our sugar into that bowl, and we're going to cream the cream cheese and sugar. So we are going to go with, that doesn't seem right. We're going to go with a cup of sugar. And I would recommend whatever measuring container you're going to use, whatever cup measuring container you're going to use, just make sure you use the same one or a similarly sized one for the rest of your ingredients.
3 tablespoons of sugar in the cream cheese.
But we're not going to use that right now because we're adding 3 tablespoons of sugar. Which is why you always read twice. I don't know, is that right?
Check the recipe.
So we got that sugar in there. We'll lock that down, get that stand mixer moving, and then just cream that sugar and cream cheese. While we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and get our dries together. So 1.5 cups of just regular all-purpose flour. Probably want to use a 1.5 cup measure. Guy like me though, I like to live on the edge, so we're just going to do that. So 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And then this recipe calls for 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder. 6 tablespoons comes out to 1/4 cup and 2 tablespoons. So there are 4 tablespoons in a 1/4 cup. So if you ever see that, you can easily make that calculation. 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. Tori, if you're on there, correct me if I'm wrong. So my 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder, or 1/4 cup, and then 2 more.
No questions. Lots of people.
2. We gotta pull out our other container of cocoa powder. Where it is.
I do.
My 1/4 cup.
Pro tip, if you're too lazy to put the knobs on your cabinets, you can always use a really long-handled spoon to open.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm just gonna finish out. So far, like I said, we have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 6 tablespoons cocoa powder.
We haven't invited dogs, actually.
He can join us. And then we got some baking soda. So go ahead, grab that baking soda. What are we doing here? 1.5 tablespoons.
1.5 teaspoons.
Is it teaspoons?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There you go. Where you at? So go ahead and throw that right in. And I'm going to use the 1/2 teaspoon for this. I'm not taking any chances with the baking soda. So I like to whisk my dries. Make sure I got them all in there. 1.5 cups of flour. 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder. 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. except for my wets.
That is going to be for your cream cheese mixture, which you should finish off before you do your wets.
So we want a nice dark color on that flour. Try to break up any chunks of that cocoa powder that might be sticking around. And I'm going to quickly add this egg back to my cream cheese and sugar. Just dump it right in. And then just let that stand mixer do its work. Go ahead and turn it off every once in a while and scrape down those edges as you go. For me. Get these out of here. I'm getting my ingredients together for the wets for this mix. So on that side, so for your wets, your wet ingredients, we're going to go with 1 cup of water, again with that 6 tablespoons, that's a 1/4 cup, and 2 tablespoons. We got a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and then 3 tablespoons of cider vinegar. I'm going to throw that together real quick. Quick. So with that cream cheese mix, if you are done and you have that nice consistency, now would be the time to fold in your chocolate chips. We're adding in 1 cup of chocolate chips. So now that you have that cream cheese mixture together,
1/2 cup.
we're adding in, I like 1 cup. 1 cup's good. You could do a 1/2 cup. Recipe says 1/2 cup, but I'd go for 1 cup. In the past when we had made these, there were times when we did not add the chocolate chips, and they're great muffins at the end of that. So chocolate chips are optional in my mind, but if you are going to add them, now's the time to add them. You want to fold those in for me, please? Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get my oil in this bowl. I think I can take my chances here. Trained eye. Lots of experience. Got my oil. I'm going to quickly grab my 1 cup of water. Dump that in there. Go ahead and rinse this guy real quick. So I need 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Shake that up a little bit. Mix those contents around. 1, 2. Wonderful. Awesome. All right, so I've got my wets. I've got my dries. And before I combine them, I want to go back through that recipe and just make sure I did not screw it up, especially with all those missed ratios that I was calling out. 3 ounces of cream cheese. We have 1 cup plus 3 tablespoons of sugar. That 3 tablespoons of sugar is going into your cream cheese mix. Mix that cream cheese together, drop that egg, get that nice consistency. Fold in those chips. Have 1.5 cups of flour, 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. Got it. In my dries, in my wets, I'm looking at 1 cup of water, 6 tablespoons oil. Ooh, see? I got my 3 tablespoons of cider vinegar, but what I did not add was the vanilla. That was a tragedy. So, topping it off, I have a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And we are lucky enough to have some really nice homemade vanilla here that I'm going to use. Beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to give the wets a quick whisk. Incorporate everything, try to combine those ingredients a little bit here.
Just looking at the Instagram feed here, guys, 6 tablespoons of oil, and the recipe will be available as well. So no need to write anything down right now.
Yeah, I will. I'll be posting the recipe in full on the YouTube channel. I think it's also in the Instagram story currently still. You can check it out there.
Shout out to the Ovens of Brittany cookbook and its wonderful author, Therese Allen. Thank you, Therese. Thank you for the farm cake recipe. Right here in Madison, Wisconsin.
So now you're just incorporating those ingredients. Typically, I try not to overdo it in terms of the combining.
Batter will be lumpy. Do not overmix.
Yep. But get that stuff incorporated. The batter will stay slightly lumpy. Should we give him a look? Maybe we can do that. I don't know if that'll work.
Oh, what? And these have to get sprayed.
So, in terms of adding these muffins into a tin, we're going to use a coconut spray on the pan. I got it right here. If you have muffin cups, you could use that as well. So either a pan spray, you can take some butter, smear it on the inside of that thing. I'm going to hit them with this coconut spray until it's gone. That's it. Flush it out.
You know where the gray handled scoop is? Do you have it out?
Nope.
No? Ah, here it is.
Okay, so we're gonna move into the sort of production piece. Couple of things that I want you to think about here. We do not want to overload the muffin tin. We're probably shooting for about halfway up. It's better to have them slightly smaller than to have them explode over the edges of that tin. So shoot for about halfway up in your muffin tin, and then additionally you will leave some space for that filling to fill out the rest of that pan. Scoop is probably the best way to go about this. Grab a scoop, drop that batter, stop early of the halfway mark because some of that batter is going to pour off when you try to pull that scoop away, and it'll continue to fill that tin a bit. So fill those muffin tins halfway up. Once everything is settled and we've got all those tins full, we'll come back. That's going to be a big one. We'll come back with our cream cheese filling and top them off.
You can make your own vanilla. That'll be another video.
So once you've got your muffin tins filled, we're gonna go ahead and take that cream cheese mixture, and if you all don't have a, what do we got here? This is like a 1/2 ounce. What is this? Let me take a look.
I call it the purple scoop. I think it's
3/4 of an ounce, which, not that any of you would know that. Just grab a spoon. Just get like 1/2 spoonful and just drop it right in the center. And those chocolate chips and that cream cheese mixture will actually start to sink down into the center, and it creates kind of a nice little filling of cream cheese and or chocolate chips. And additionally, I guess I'll recommend it. You could make this without the cream cheese filling if you're just not into it. Still a great muffin, but I think the cream cheese filling really sets it apart.
You know, David, if you make it without the cream cheese filling, it's actually a vegan muffin, a chocolate vegan muffin.
There you go. If you're feeling like being
Chocolate
vegan.
batter
So
would be dairy and egg free.
that's what we're looking at. Pre-oven. My Instagram people, look at that. That's pre-oven. So we're gonna go ahead and get those into a nice hot oven. And we're gonna wait, I think it's about, what do we got? 18 to 20 minutes. So the cream cheese topping will begin to brown. There shouldn't be any liquid or really like jiggliness in that muffin. And if you want to pop a toothpick in, and if it comes out clean, chances are you're pretty good. Although these are chocolate, so sometimes that chocolate sticks on there. But we want about 18 to 20 minutes. 350, 375. I had them at 375. You know, ovens can be a little finicky, so just keep your eye on them. 18 to 20 minutes, and in that time, you will have fresh
Was that magic?
farm cake. That was time lapse.
Oh,
We are now in the future, and I have completed my farm cakes. So our finished product here, people, that's what we're looking at. My Instagram world. Look at that thing. That's beautiful.
do those have chocolate chips, or did you just use?
These have chocolate chips.
Ooh.
Ah, look at that filling. Huh? So, that's our farm cake recipe. Let me real quick just read through that recipe one last time, just so that everybody has it. And like I said, I will post it. So, for that cream cheese filling, we're looking at 3 ounces of cream cheese, 1 egg, and 3 tablespoons of sugar. For our dries, for the batter, we want 1.5 cups of flour, 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. Baking soda. For our wet ingredients, we have 1 cup of water, 6 tablespoons of canola oil. We have 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and then 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Mix the wets, mix the dries, combine the two together. Remember, don't overmix, the batter will be slightly lumpy. Spray or line that pan. Fill those pans or those muffin tins about halfway. Drop a dollop, using just a regular old eating teaspoon, drop a dollop of cream cheese mix right into the center. Throw them in the oven, 375, 18 to 20 minutes. and out comes your farm cakes. So that's our farm cake recipe.